Now for the last 18 months, the Talaria MX5 has been the king of standard e-bikes in the UK. But today, there's a new competitor which completely destroys all the other competition. In the US, they have other offerings, but here we've only just got the E-Ride Pro 2.0 SS. Now that bike does come with a little bit of upgrades over the MX4, but Talaria fought back and brought out the MX5. The MX5 is a great bike, it comes with loads of features, meaning that you have to spend way less on upgrades to get your bike absolutely dialed in.
This
is the Talaria MX5 Competizione.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.
Let me take you over what makes this bike so special. So, we actually have, for the first time, a light switch that not only turns on and off the front light, but also the rear light, which is fantastic. You don't want that on in the daytime when you're on the trails. It also comes with ginormous moto style rear and front brakes with 220mm 3mm thick rotors. It has an upgraded shock. It has a peg brace and proper pegs with brilliant little grub screws so that your feet aren't slipping. You do not need to upgrade those pegs at all. It also comes with some of the best brake levers I've ever seen on a stock bike. These are moto style and they have bike point adjustment. They feel fantastic and they're really powerful. The forks. Now, these forks, on first impressions, look amazing. They have high speed and low speed compression and rebound adjustments, which is a first. You only usually get this on the upgraded forks from Rflow XA. Now for the big difference. This bike features an 82 volt 50 amp hour battery. With the Competizione X9000 controller, this bike puts out 22 kilowatts standard. This bike comes with a complete warranty, so it is basically a standard bike. If you think of it, it's like the Brabus of Mercedes or the MSRT of Ford. There's another feature which I really love. We'll have to go around the other side of the bike, and that's the fact that the MX5 actually comes with a 428 wide chain. We also have a proper chain guide to stop that chain derailing. But yeah, here are some of the extra features. This bike also comes as standard with a carbon front mudguard, carbon look rear mudguard, and carbon rear hugger. Another thing I've noticed, which I don't think anyone else has spoken about, is that this MX5 swing arm looks a bit thicker than the MX3 and MX4 swing arms, which means that this should have a bit more rigidity to it. So this bike has 4,000 watt hours of energy that can be used to give you the most ultimate range out of any e-bike. The Altis Sigma, although a great bike, we don't have it in the UK, and that is way under 4,000 watt hours. Any other 72 volt 50 amp hour bikes like the E-Ride Pro 3.0, that's less than 4,000 watt hours. This is the highest range bike out of any of its competitors. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to hit the trails and I'm going to tell you my feedback on this bike on the trails, how it behaves, how the suspension feels, and how the brakes are. So without further ado, let's head on out. Okay guys, we are now at a private road. So we have this in race 3. This bike has 2 modes. The first mode is street. Obviously for the street, slightly less acceleration, but a bit higher top end. Should do 65 to 70 miles per hour on this stock motor. And then we also have race. Race is for off-road, motocross type use. This has extreme acceleration, 22 kilowatts of peak, but a slightly lower top end. For my riding, I think I'm going to keep it in race 2. I did just quickly give it a blast. I got up to 65 mile an hour in street on this little strip, which is plenty fast enough for anyone. But yeah, let's hit the trails and see how she does there. Rip that throttle back and the front wheel comes up. If this bike has crazy power for a standard bike with a warranty, I do not think this bike needs anything other than maybe some riser bars, but this is all just preference because obviously different people at different heights. I do prefer a bit more of a higher front end on mine. We're currently on race 2. I'm going to go down to race 1. This should be around 10 to 12 kilowatts. Lights up the rear tyre instantly. The brakes are really good. They are phenomenal actually. They do feel a bit like the Vola Sports, maybe less power initially, but yeah, much better than anything else you can put on these bikes, like that were designed for mountain bikes. Back wheel is sliding everywhere. does have a Fortra tyre on it, which is wider than a standard tyre. I haven't fiddled with the tyre pressures because I'm just testing this bike out today. But so far so good. Suspension feels pretty good. My only one complaint is that I wish the bars were a little bit taller, but obviously that's very minor. £40 and you can have yourself a set of bars. Sliding around everywhere. Suspension feels really, really good, guys. Really impressed so far. I haven't adjusted the settings. Race 1 is probably my preferred setting for off-road use. Got a nice bit of torque. Shock feels good as well. Obviously on my bike at home I've got over £2.5 grand worth of suspension upgrade, so you know it's not going to feel like that, but I'd say it's 90% there. Oh, a bit muddy here, let's go slowly through that. Okay. I do feel instantly at home on this due to riding a Talaria anyway. The weight is pretty much the same as what I have on my bike. It's not a light bike by any means, but it is more capable and more robust due to this. I mean, it does have plenty of grip. Like you can pop the wheel up, but I suppose being a 80 wide tyre rather than 90. Power is great. It really, really is good. Suspension's handling this really nicely. Power is fantastic. Yeah, really impressed with it. So obviously I do have a pretty insane Talaria build myself, reaching a speed of 98 miles per hour, but from 0 to maybe 30 or 40 this bike feels very similar. In fact, any more power you can't use it, you cannot keep the front end down. After 40 this bike does have a bit less power than mine, but remember this is a standard bike and this only costs £7,000. If you was to try and do something on an MX4 and make it like my bike, you're gonna have to spend £15,000–16,000 by the time you're finished. So the value for money on this bike is just crazy. Lots of people do think, oh, I'm just gonna buy a £5,000 Suron or Talaria and keep it standard, but no, that never ends up happening. You always start tinkering and then you can't stop. So you might as well do it right from the start and get something that's gonna save you more money in the long run. Yeah, race 1 on this is my favourite power mode. Race 3 is pretty leery off-road. If you had a set of supermotos on it, maybe you'd be in race 3 most of the time. Or street 3. Wheelie is really nice. Throttle response is fantastic. Now this is an EBMX controller, but it is locked. You cannot adjust the settings, and the reason for that is this bike has a warranty. If you take the controller and you start fiddling with the settings, there's a chance that you're going to change a setting and maybe put too much power through the bike, etc. You'll void your warranty. So to make it simple for everyone, you cannot unlock this controller. This is as it comes. But like I say, the power is crazy, the throttle response is amazing. Also, the regen brake is a nice feature, not too harsh, just slows the bike down nicely without locking up the wheel like some others. Final thoughts on the MX5 Competizione. This is 100% the best value for money bike with a warranty that you can buy. I don't think this bike needs anything other than if you're taller, you might want to lower these and raise the bars. But other than that, I do not think this bike needs a single modification. This bike rides 95% of what my super crazy Talaria Sting build is, or 90% maybe, for less than half the price. Now if you want to grab yourself one of these, they are going to be on the Electron Cycles website. He's going to be building them bike by bike, so they are first come first serve. So if you are interested, definitely register your interest with him by email. Really impressed with it. I'm actually going to head out now and do some more riding on this because I'm having so much fun on it. But for now, as always guys, I'll see you next week. I hope everyone has a fantastic Christmas and a very happy New Year. Take care guys.